You say you want a revolution, well, you got one tonight in Orlando. At its best, it had some bloodshed and some championships defended. Of course, there were some low points, like some matches going a bit too long for my liking. Well, alright now, let's get to the review. I'm John Retton with my review of AEW Revolution 2022 Electric Orlando Boogaloo. I do have praise for this show, but oh boy, am I going to piss some people off with some things I didn't like? Let me know your thoughts on this show in the comments, please. A lot of notes to get through in a very long pay-per-view. By the time we got done with the buy-in and all the way to the end, we nearly had 5 hours of in-ring action. I will say that I appreciate that AEW gives the fans as much as possible with their pay-per-views, since they only do 4 a year. And they give us some big specials for Dynamite. They don't really give us much for Rampage. They've kind of thrown the towel with Rampage, but they do give us some really, really good stuff. At their peak, they do some great stuff like Jim Crockett Promotions used to, and the best days of WCW. Then they get in their own goddamn way, and they get to where there's too much goddamn interference, like the Attitude Era and various other time periods, where it just gets to the point you overbook it. So yeah, it was definitely a tale of 2 shows, but again, there was some good stuff. So, on the pre-show, we got 3 matches. Instead of usually getting like 1 match, maybe 2 in like a 30-minute period, we had the entire hour dedicated to video packages, but mainly the matches. Excalibur and Tony Schiavone calling the action for the pre-show. Legit Layla Hirsch against Chris Statlander. It seems like they're getting away from Chris Statlander being the alien. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind unique gimmicks. Statlander, I feel now the alien stuff's kind of holding her back. She looks good in the gear. She's in great shape. She is a very good wrestler. She's improved a lot since coming back from her knee injury. Layla Hirsch is quite good. Both these women should be featured more prominently, in my opinion. Layla targeted the arm. Statlander kept coming back with some good power. It wasn't a bad buy-in match at all. Like, had this been on Dynamite, I think that I don't know if the ratings would have gone hugely up, since both these women have kind of just plateaued as far as their usage, but it would have at least kept the audience invested. The camera was a bit weird at first. I think they were waiting to focus on the hard cam, so they were using the floor cams and stuff, and the arena did seem pretty full, and for the most part, the crowd was into it. The Rana off the apron, I don't really understand. Statlander landing on Layla's leg because it wasn't a well thought out move, because Layla, bless her, is only like 4 fucking feet tall, but really, really good in the ring. Layla was in the Russian gear or whatever. Maybe they should have had Layla leave that to the side, given the world events going on. Not blaming Layla Hirsch at all. And we just get, at one point, Statlander just stands up and says, "You're short, but you're gonna fall now. Whee!" And then she, just throws her off the top, wherever, goes down with her. Giggity. Layla does eventually go outside. She finds a loose buckle hook. Not hook! We'll get to that in a minute. She hits her with it. The referees, by the way, were made totally ineffective tonight. Like, so much distraction going on and so much bullshit where they're having to turn around and like, I know something's happening behind me, but I have to look like a fucking idiot back here. And then she does hit her with it and gets the moonsault. Very beautiful moonsault. 1, 2, 3. Red Velvet shows up to check on Chris Statlander. And Shivani's in the ring. And Omega's music plays. Okay, the god of pro wrestling is back. No, it's Mr. NDA himself, Don Scarlet Fever Callis. Let me just say right now that even if you take away the stuff that Don Callis has obviously done and gotten away with because of the NDAs, the guy has no business being on a wrestling program in 2022. He's not a very good talker anymore. He's just not very interesting. He gets immediate shut the fuck up chance, because the whole thing with Omega and Callis was well played out before they even did it in AEW. It was played out in fucking New Japan, for God's sakes. So he blames the fans for Omega's injuries or whatever. Injury. I'm sure that Omega had injuries, but some of the stuff they came up with, like that he was dealing with, I call bullshit on. Now, I think he was injured and needed time off, and he can just stay further away from AEW as far as I'm concerned, because I really have no desire to see Omega in a prominent position anymore, since after the matches with Okada, he's varied in quality, in my opinion. He puts over the Elite, talks about a sleeper cell in there, and okay, then we get to QT saying that he will have to end Hook. So they send Hook! And Hook proceeds to get a massive pop. Taz is on commentary. The crowd pops for everything Hook does. This match was actually about 5 minutes. And it was, I think, the longest match that Hook had. And QT cheated, took him down a bit to booze every single time, but eventually Hook got the red rum for the victory. Not a bad match. QT is fine putting people over like this. They just need to not have long matches, in my personal opinion. But he's fine. He's a good trainer. And also, Hook got the victory. Okay. By the way, this is almost a year to the day that I first said Hook, because Tony Schiavone said that when they said, it's Hook in that cinematic match. I'm done now. Hook. So, he got the victory. The House of Black entrance. I mean, it looks cool. I forgot that Buddy Matthews had just gotten to the company already. Boy, he must be happy that there's no wellness policy. Guy's in phenomenal shape, let me just say that. And Penta has a gravestone and a shovel. And Alex Abrahantes is a dark priest. And Eric Redbeard is... He's here, Mr. Redbeard, I presume. This was the House of Black. It was Matthews, Alistair, I'm sorry, Malachi, sorry, still taking a bit for me to get used to that, and Brody King against Pac, Penta, and Eric Redbeard, and they actually did kind of, justify, they tried to, justify the fact that, oh, you guys put us on pre-show, we're going to fucking show you, we're going to tear the house down with moves and more moves, and I have not cared about this feud at all. They did some impressive shit. I met two of these guys. I met Penta, and I've met Brody King. Both are very nice. These guys can all work. I'm amazed that Redbeard didn't get injured, since it seemed like when he was Eric Rowan, he always got goddamn injured, even though he's an impressive-looking guy. They did big man stuff. Everybody just kept doing their stuff and everything. It was fine. It was fine for what it was. We get a DVD, and then we get a tope. And then Fear Factor on the apron. We get a stomp on Penta. It was broken up. And then we get just a sit-out driver. 1, 2, 3. And Eric Redbeard takes the pin. Shockingly. Good job. It's thanks for coming, Eric Redbeard. Thanks for coming. Redbeard, just go off into the high seas. Eric Roman or Redbeard, Excalibur screwed up. Don't worry, he's not the only commentator screwed up. And I don't mind Excalibur. I'm not going to dump on Excalibur too goddamn much, even though I know he's an acquired taste. I do like that he does know the moves and everything, and calls the action pretty well. Does he get overbearing? Sure. But I'm a fan of Mauro Ranallo, and he got overbearing. And so I'm going to cut Excalibur some slack. JR comes out to the close. What did you guys think of the pre-show? Let me know in the comments, please. It was a pretty good pre-show. Let's hear it for the Judas. And a huge pop for Eddie Kingston. It's Eddie Kingston versus the insurrection influencer himself, Chris Jericho. And I'm going to keep saying that. And I don't care if anybody gets offended. So Eddie just drops Jericho right on his goddamn head. If Jericho had a goddamn working brain, then that would matter. He's not the only Canadian that would have massive brain damage. Oh no, hide your kids, hide your wives, because he's out here cross-facing everybody. So Jericho takes over, he's working as a heel, flips off the crowd, does a chop. This was actually pretty good. It wasn't as good as Eddie versus Miro, in my personal opinion. I think I like that just a little bit more, but there was some good stuff here. Did it go a minute or two too long? Possibly. It seems like they could have trimmed a few matches down by a couple minutes, and you wouldn't have missed shit, because you don't need to do near fall after near fall after near fall. That's an issue with 90s All Japan. Even though 90s All Japan is fucking great, and, even current New Japan. Yeah, you can protect some finishers, but getting to having more kickouts doesn't mean your match is great. We get some back suplexes. Eddie he had to get in position at one point for the Lion Salt because Jericho just can't fucking jump anymore. He got in better shape. He got off the bubbly. He still is shot. He is washed physically. He does hit a code breaker at one point. Jericho does. Actually hits 2 of them. We get 2 back fists. We get the stretch plum. And he keeps cranking and cranking. And stretch plum actually wins a match. Holy shit. Big time victory for Eddie Kingston. Goes for the handshake. And Jericho's like, no, I will not do that. Do not ask me where my wife and mother-in-law were on January 6th. Ha ha ha. And he leaves. Eddie Kingston, however, huge pop. Big victory for Eddie Kingston. So far, so good. And then we get the Super One-Note Tag Team Party. No, I don't care for the Young Bucks, even though I praised the Young Bucks in the past, and I look forward to the hate for no goddamn reason, just for my opinions. Brandon Cutler has no right to be an on-screen character. It's not that he's a bad worker in the ring, and I know that he apparently seems like he's a nice guy. Cool. The comedy's stupid. It's BTE comedy, and it's not any good. Tarzan Boy pops the crowd. It's Red Dragon, Bobby Fish, who back when he was in school, they didn't have history. His social security number is 1. I understand that he really remembers the Alamo. Hell, he had to go say hi to some people that he knew from the Civil War. Okay, enough age jokes. Kyle O'Reilly is there, and that's Red Dragon. We get the not-so-young Bucks, and we get Jurassic Express, Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy. O-wee-o-wee-o. It's a 3-way tag title match, and here we go. I wrote down, how much of a mess is this going to be? Is it going to be like a usual Young Bucks match? Okay, so it's more about Red Dragon and Young Bucks having their thing. Oh, it's like, oh, you can get the pin. Oh, wait, no, we're cool with each other, but we're going to keep breaking up the pin. This is tension I don't care about, because I don't care about the elite, the elite. I don't care about it. Some people do. That's fine. It's like a bad version of the NWO. It's like NWO 2000, but worse. NWO 2000, by the way, had the fucking Harris brothers. Well, the last version of the NWO. I mean, I actually think NWO 2000 technically was Jarrett, Hart, Nash, and Hall. Then they had to put the Harris brothers in there. Yay, the Nazi Harris brothers. Let's get back to this. I'm sorry, I know some people like this match. I didn't hate it. It only went 18 minutes, but it felt like it went on way too long. Because the Bucks were just doing their normal video game bullshit. And the cage match last year with the Lucha Bros, the match I had against Golden Lovers, the Strong Style of All 2018, and a couple other matches I've enjoyed. And I have praised on my favorite matches of the year list. This ain't going to be there. Some people like it. That's fine. At one point, Jungle Boy just, does a, frickin' shooting star off of Luchasaurus. That was really cool. That was a nice pop. We just get a bunch of, moves, moves for the sake of moves, and then eventually Jurassic Express get the victory with the Jurassic Express. But Red Dragon and the Bucks kept fighting and everything, and I didn't care, because I don't care about any of this stuff. Good thing that Jurassic Express retained. Let's move on to, Double or Nothing weekend package. Okay, that should be pretty interesting. In all seriousness, I expected Jurassic Express to get the victory because you didn't need to give the Bucks the titles again. You need to give Red Dragon the championships because you're going to get, because of the Callis tease, you're going to get Omega and the Bucks against Cole Red Dragon, which really does sound like an 80s rock band, at Double or Nothing. Even add a couple other people. You might be able to get a blood and guts thing out of that. In fact, I actually think that they may be going that route because you only have 2 months, 2.5 months until the pay-per-view. You might as well give them the whole kit and caboodle. So anyway, let's go to the face of the Sonic Revolution ladder match. I mean, I'm sorry, it's the Sonic 2, Sonic Adventure. It's a Sonic Nuva ring. That is the second biggest Nuva ring I've seen on camera. You don't want to know about the first. Always search history. So since it's the ladder match, Christian Cage, the veteran himself, taking on Powerhouse Hobbs, Willa Hobbs, Ricky Starks, Wardlow, Orange Cassidy, and Keith Lee. Way too many big men in this is what I noted. Now, there were some cool big man spots. There were some moments that I liked in this match. Ricky Starks doing a great spear through the ladder, and other moments. It also was a fucking mess at times, and not even a good mess. It was a mess where people were just waiting around to do their spots and everything. The big men did some cool stuff, but I feel that they just didn't. I understand they just signed Lee. They wanted to utilize him. They wanted to do all this. They wanted to do some good stuff. But it just got, the timing seemed off at times. I hate the Cassidy stuff. I hate it. I know some people like Orange Cassidy. That's fine. Ain't for me. If I were any reputable wrestler, I'd be like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, and some fans, aren't into it. Some people are. It's not that the guy can't work. He can. I'm just over it. Lee was just getting a chance to shine at this point. Lee and Wardlow had some good exchanges. Hobbs and Starks. Oh no, what are they going to do? Are they going to stay or are they going to go rogue on each other? Cassidy got crotched at one point. That looked kind of bad. He did do a couple spots where he was lazy, but then outsmarted everybody by being the sloth man that he is. Superplex by Hobbs. A spear through the ladder by Starks. That was pretty cool. Wardlow split that ladder the same way I split one of my exes. That's all I'm going to say right there. And also, then Wardlow and Hobbs actually split another ladder like I split one of my exes. Very, very fun times for me. But anyway, so Wardlow has a chance to get up the ladder and do that. But that's not the finish. He has to go outside after everybody dives on, everybody's down. The big men battle to the stage. Him and Hobbs split the ladder. Hobbs and Lee are fighting by the announcer's table, and Wardlow sends them crashing to the stage. Why? Why the fuck not? Badly timed. And then Wardlow ends up, basically, Wardlow, is like just standing there all big and everything, and then suddenly Danhausen shows up. I know some people like Danhausen. I'm not knocking the guy. I'm over this character already. I've seen him live. I'm sorry. Just not for me. Just not. Just not for me. And that's all I'm going to say. It made the whole cursing thing, it does not translate that well. The crowd popped for it. That's fine. Wardlow hops on the ladder, folds Starks up, the man who's had the bad neck. That looked pretty goddamn brutal. He grabs the ring. JR with the best line, though, right before the match ended. Is this train wreck over? JR did not give a fuck on this night. Now, I do tend to criticize JR, and don't get me wrong, I'm going to during the rest of this review, but he wasn't wrong. He doesn't give a fuck. He's got plenty of money. He doesn't need to do this shit anymore. He's getting paid, I would say, close to 7 figures to do the announcing. And he could easily, I think his deal's up in April. He could easily just retire. He could just do occasional shots. I think really what they need to do is just have him call the big matches and not do full shows anymore. And I'm talking not full Dynamites, not full pay-per-views. Just don't have him do that. Have him do backstage interviews. Ease it back. Have him be like Gordon Soley should have been in WCW. Have him call special occasion matches. But is this train wreck over? He's not. He wasn't wrong for saying that. Shivani's on the stage. We have a contract signed. Who's going to sign? Swerve. Shane, Swerve Strickland. Yes, yes, yes. Good on Swerve. I am so fucking happy to Swerve sign. Whose house? Swerve's house. It was fucking great. And I can't wait to see what he does. They do need to trim some people off. They do need to come up with a way to utilize more people and everything. And come up with maybe a way to have a few more women and freshen up their women's division and utilize the guys, some other guys that should be used. Hopefully they do that. Now, I do want to say, though, Wardlow winning was very nice and actually led to something a little bit later. So we get Ty and Anna doing her entrance, and Jade dressed up like Jade from Mortal Kombat. She's green because she's green. It's not like green like money. I'm sorry. So it's the Brazilian Homewrecker versus Jade Berg in a TBS Championship match. And boy, go back and watch this if you want to see one of the worst modern era matches on pay-per-view. Sweet fucking Christ. It wasn't as bad as Warrior versus Hogan. It wasn't as bad as that. It definitely wasn't as bad as any Goldberg match lately. But my God, Jade has an impressive look. Ty Conte can work, but her matches are kind of formulaic. And by kinda, I mean so goddamn formulaic that even a basic chemistry major could basically say, yeah, that's, a bit basic. It's so basic, bitch. Let's get it to be less basic, bitch. This was terrible. Fucking terrible. It was cool that Jade did, she's goddamn. Anna was out there looking great. They did some bullshit with the referee being distracted. I love Aubrey. I'm not knocking Aubrey. Sterling got taken out at one point. Anna got taken out. We got a chair to the head at one point, even though it was obvious the referee saw it. We get a pile driver for 2. We then get a frog splash at one point from Jade. We get some moves. And this match was only maybe 6.5 minutes, about 7. It wasn't good. One of the worst matches of the year. I will recognize that this is easily the best pay-per-view I've seen so far this year, because WWE, by the way, only does premium live events, and there were more positives than negatives, but this was a fucking low point. Jade gets the victory. Tony Khan should be brought up on criminal charges for putting this on pay-per-view. This should have been on the fucking buy-in. I'm sorry, this should have been on the buy-in. You should have put... not that Layla and Statlander was necessarily, a great pay-per-view worthy match, but it would have been better as a cool-down match than this. Should have put House of Black versus, everything, even though you would have had 2 6-man tags on the same thing. I'm all for utilizing the women, but this was bad. MJF trolls people with Punk's entrance before having his own music, and then Punk apparently goes back to his ROH days. I'm not familiar with the song. People send it to me, by the way, just so you know. And everything. I don't recall the name right now because there's a lot of shit to go through. But He does that. People go nuts. It did sound like a cool song. I'll have to go and listen to it after I cut this review. It is CM Punk versus MJF in a dog collar match, a Doge collar match. Much Doge, such wow, such blood, much blading, such wow. Can we really stop blading too deep? Because you're trying to keep all the blood in your head instead of spilling it out on the floor. Okay, so here we go, the rematch. After their overly long but pretty damn good match on Dynamite, let's see how this was. Could it match Piper versus Valentine at Starrcade 83? No. Did it have some good shit? Yes, it did. Did I expect them to speed through the match and everything and make it shorter? It was 16 minutes and 8 seconds is what Piper and Valentine was. And that match hasn't even aged all that well because admittedly you would need to watch all the TVs and stuff like that and figure that out and all the syndicated programming. But it is still in a vacuum a pretty good match and timeless as far as like a good classic. Even if like some things it doesn't age all that well. This had good moments. And then it lost me. And I think you know when it lost me. So we get chain usage, but the blading was insane because Punk had been busted open on Dynamite. Just quit, eat shit, Max, and eat shit, Max, eat shit. Pretty good chance there. Punk was bleeding a ton. We get chain whipping. We get a sleeper hold. We get a vice out of the Fujiwara armbar, the salt of the earth. We get chains and fist shots and everything, and basically Punk worked on his MJF's Dynamite Diamond Ring hand since he's right-handed. That was very good psychology. The knee spot into the stairs, that was pretty cool. Punk just got beat up for a while. He was limping. He did end up coming back with some more good chain usage. We get a missed elbow with the chain wrapped around him. Superplex. And more good stuff. We're getting some good action. And then they bring out the motherfucking goddamn thumbtacks. No. I know that Britt and Thunder Rosa broke those out at St. Patrick's Day Slam, and I thought that was a little bit overdone. But in a lights out match, I get it. And a dog collar match, I'm sorry, you did not need to bring out the thumbtacks. You didn't need to fucking do it. You didn't need to fucking do it. It took me out of it. I'm not saying the match went on my worst matches of the year list. I still appreciate the effort, and I hope these guys are okay. But we get a GTS onto the tacks and all that. Oh my God, what the hell's going on? Wait a second. We get Wardlow. He's looking for the ring just before that. And Wardlow can't find the ring. And then we get the GTS onto the tacks. And Punk's like, no. And then Wardlow finds it. And here it is. He puts that ring right on the ring apron. That gets the biggest pop of the goddamn match. Punk puts it on. Hits him with it. 1, 2, 3. That was good. They didn't need the fucking tacks. That took me out of it. 25-45, it easily could have been done in 20 minutes. But Wardlow turning. Good shit. Very good shit. There were great things in this. The tack spot just took me out of it. Am I going to say this is one of the worst matches of the year? No. But just, god damn it, they didn't need to do the tacks. So, Rosa does an entrance. Great entrance, great gear. Fucking Thunder Rosa's awesome. The Doctor will see you, meow. We got a new belt design. Britt Baker has a new belt. Okay, that looks kind of cool. Looks very AWA-like, if you know what I mean. The main title. Thunder Rosa versus Britt with Jamie and Rebel for the AEW Women's Championship. Let me say right now that I love Thunder Rosa and I appreciate Britt Baker for just embracing, the charisma aspect, finding her comfort zone, and doing some great promos. She's good in the ring. She's not great in the ring, but with the right people, especially Thunder Rosa, and I was rooting for Thunder Rosa, there can be some great chemistry. Their match at Beach Break, last year was actually pretty good, and the Lights Out match they had just a month later was really, really good. This had a chance. You know what took me out of it? All the interference. The interference made the referee why have a referee? Just let everybody get in here. Just let everybody get in there. It was ridiculous. Britt, JR calling the shit out was great because JR had it. The interference fucking lost me. Thunder Rosa hit a beautiful spear, right through, the goddamn ropes on Rebel. She had enough. There was some good action here. Thunder Rosa can work. Britt can work with the right people, as I said. The interference was ridiculous. And no, you were distracted by Jamie Hayter at ringside, not me. Jamie got taken down also, but then another stomp in the ring, 1, 2, 3. Britt gets the victory. The crowd was also dead quiet during this. I think that's partly because of the dog collar match and also the fact they were upset about the interference. I have no problem with interference and doing stuff like a heel, but people say, oh, it's like the JBL, the captain thing. Yeah, and that even got overdone. And it got to the point where, oh, I just want to see somebody beat Britt. Thunder Rosa will probably beat Layla Hirsch on Dynamite coming up, and then win in like a cage match or something, the first ever women's cage match, and win the championship in Texas. And she lives in Texas, big home, town pop or big home state pop. That'll be good. But this did not click as well as it should have, and I feel bad because both women were really, really trying to put something there, and the interference just took me out of it. So, Wild Thing, you make Orlando sing. It's Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson in a We Want Violence. And how was this match? This was great shit. It was great shit because what happened is Mox even said, I won't, stand with anybody until I bled with them. Well, Mox starts bleeding. A lot of blood. We had a lot of blood on this pay-per-view. And there were some clubbing blows, great wrestling. I was enjoying this, and I still enjoy this. I still really think this was fucking great. This was fucking amazing. One of my favorite matches of the year. There was, some great dives, some great other stuff. There was some fucking fantastic shit going on here. And, the snap backdrop, the label lock, great wrestling, great bulldog choke, the psycho knee, Boo Psycho knee, or whatever the hell, he calls it. And Mox it seemed like Bryan, he had him in the triangle, but then Mox somehow got him in a pin and got the victory. And oh shit, Bryan couldn't relinquish the hold, and he lost, even though he should have won. And he's all like upset and everything. Check out this match. This, in my opinion, was pretty much the high point of the pay-per-view. Really, really good stuff. And then they're getting upset at each other, going full bore, security and refs are coming out, it's madness. And suddenly we cut, the crowd's popping, it's William Regal. With a fresh coat of paint, William Regal on this program could actually work pretty goddamn well. Hey, we got another guy from Vince. Well, you got another guy from Vince, that's only because Vince is done with him. He ain't drawing, otherwise you wouldn't have Vince's guy. Larry Zbyszko said that in one of the Monday Night War episodes. And I love Regal. I'm not going to crap on Regal coming in. But Regal got a huge pop. Holy shit chance. He slaps Mox. He slaps Bryan. I taught you better than that. Shake hands. Regal having to be the dad that he was in NXT for so goddamn long. I'm going to tell you right now, this better not be a one-off. I believe that Regal actually is signed to AEW. He could be an authority figure if they wanted to have him be an authority figure. Him managing Mox and Danielson for the short term is fine. And he can scout talent. That's what he did with WWE for years and years and years. He knows talent. He's great like that. He's well respected. This is a good sign. This is the kind of sign that they need to make a while ago. And WWE just let him go. He is going to do some great things in AEW. So, this was good stuff. That was really, really good. And then Shivani comes on stage and reminds us of Dynamite. And Sky and Sammy are going to have a match on Dynamite. And whoever wins that faces off against Wardlow. And it's going to be Sammy likely, and then Sammy's going to beat Wardlow because MJF's going to cost Wardlow the match. Then they're going to get to that. Program by Double or Nothing. So after the heels make their entrance, Darby and Sting Darby crashes a car into a trailer during this whole funeral thing for Matt Hardy. I mean, Matt Hardy's mobility maybe. And then Sting comes in with a flamethrower and sets shit on fire. Why the fuck not? At this point, who the fuck isn't going to let Grandpa Sting do that? The Hardy family orifice. It is Andrade, El Olio, and Matt Hardy, along with Isaiah Cassidy and all the other Hardy family orifice members, not including the bunny, or maybe the bunny was there. There were a lot of camera cuts, I couldn't really tell. Taking on Grandpa Sting and Graham and his grandkids. Trios Tornado Tag. Did you ever see the Mania 13 street fight with LOD and LOD, Ahmed Johnson, against the Nation? Congratulations, you basically seen this. It was just this with an older guy. That's pretty much it. That is pretty much it right now. I'm not saying it was the worst thing, but everybody just went nuts. They figured, okay, be like Starrcade 87 and Mania 13. Humans had to be together and just do that. Jose got taken out. There was a chair used. Jose got a trash can put on him, and everybody just got knocked out. Sting is bless Sting for trying. It's pretty bad, though. He moves better than Matt Hardy, and he's like 15 years older than him. Street fight, it was just street fight atmosphere. Tornado tag, everybody. Why even have a ref? The pinfall has to happen inside the ring. The Butcher, everybody's just stacking tables and doing stuff. There's tables on the stage. Sammy does a freaking Spanish fly with Isaiah Cassidy crashing through the table. Thank God neither of them died. Sting at one point jumps on Andrade through a stack of tables. I know that you youngins think that we old people can't be any more any fun anymore, and you know that that's a totally butchered quote from Grandpa Simpson. And it was just madness, just crazy goddamn madness. And a coffin drop on Matt. 1, 2, 3. Darby totally missed the coffin drop because Matt moved out of the way. And Darby also undershot the goddamn thing. And probably shouldn't have done that. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Darby, Grandpa Sting, and Sammy win. Hooray! Okay, now we never conquered when it came because we Adam's songs are playing. Okay, lame. Far in the review. Adam's song, it's Adam Cole, baby, in Halo-inspired gear, and Adam Hangman Page in Pride gear. I'm sure that sent every person in Florida that is a fan of the governor exploding. Even though you should be able to love who you want to fucking love, and fuck you if you don't agree. So, let's go Adam chants. The crowd was having fun during this. There was some good moments to this. We did get some good strikes and good counters. Cole targeting the arm to stop the buckshot. Apron bomb. We got JR at this point didn't know the difference between a Liger bomb and a power bomb, and Excalibur calmly explained it to him. We got a tombstone for 2. We did get a couple dead eyes. Spanish fly fall away slam off the top, or at least a variation. And then Red Dragon shows up, and this is where the match kind of came to a halt. And I know that they have to have it, but we just had interference in the women's match. We've had interference otherwise. It gets to where it's a little interference crazy. It was a little bit spread out, but not spread out enough with how much we got in the women's title match. The good women's title match, by the way, because Rosa and Britt, at least, they did some good stuff. Jade and Ty, less so. We get a low blow, lower the boom kick. A Panama Sunrise on the floor should have killed somebody, and it didn't. We get a lariat and a super kick times 3. Drops from the boom kick because Paige decides, oh, I don't want to get hit by this. And then the table got brought out, the ringside table. Deadeye threw it. The Dark Order comes down. And hey, look, a brawl in the middle of a match. That's fucking new. By the way, I like this pay-per-view, but that wasn't really fucking good. And Adams just exchanged chops and kicks and everything. Oh, and then we get a buckshot, but his hand on the ropes. And then the buckle was tied to Adam Cole, baby's arm, and he's caught, and he gets hit with some super kicks, and then eventually hits one of his own. But gets hit with the boom, Page kick, buckshot lariat, 1, 2, 3. Adam Hangman Page gets the victory, and that's it. No Kenny Omega, no nothing. That is all that happened on AEW Revolution. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.